Hi, welcome back. Today in our lab exercise, we are going to configure DHCP, which is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. The DHCP protocol is a network management protocol which is used on Internet Protocol networks and is automatically assigns the IP addresses and other communication parameters to devices connected to the network using a client-server architecture. Now, you might have seen in our previous video, we talked about how can we set up a domain on our computer, and you can do the same thing. If you have configured the domain, you'll be able to see the Active Directory domain and services over here. Else you can click Start, type Server Manager, and you'll be able to go to Server Manager. As you can see, this is my dashboard where it's showing that I have Active Directory domain services and DNS installed over here. Now if I would like to install DHCP on the same server, I can do it by clicking on Manage and click Add Roles and Features. I'll press Next and then Next again and Next. And here I'm going to select DHCP server, but that's Windows based feature. We don't want to do it today. We are going to install it on a Linux based CentOS operating system, Linux based DHCP setup, which you can work on in order to configure it so that your computers on the network can lease the IP addresses using the DHCP server, which is Linux based. Now in order to do that, I'm going to install PuTTY on my computer. That's a free software that you can download from their website. Go to PuTTY or you can Google it and download the version of it and install it on your computer. Now if you remember, we configured partially DHCP server on our network, but if you have it on there and you have the name and the IP address of the server, all you need to do is you'll just write DHCP. That's the name of the server. I named it as 01-Sayed, and then if you want, you can save the connection by just writing DHCP over here, so that next time if you want, you'll just double click on this one and it would open it. So since we configured it last time or installed it, we'll just double click on it. It would give you a login prompt, though it's a Linux server itself of CentOS, but we'll be able to connect to it. So if I want to connect to it, I'll provide my username and I'll provide my password, so I am connected to my DHCP server. So let's check a couple of things on this one. If we want to check the directory, we'll type pwd and it would show us the directory where we are in at the moment. I think it would be clear. I just increased the font on my PuTTY. So anyway, let's start again. We'll have to check a couple of things on this one. So we checked the directory of it. Now we are going to check the host name of it and we'll press enter, and as you remember, I entered DHCP01 and then my name, so it connected it with us and it's showing me the name of it. Now if I would like to connect to or I would like to see my details, I'm going to type in who am I, and it's going to tell me that I am Sayed. Now if I would like to install the DHCP on that, we'll use yum on this one, and then I'll type in install and DHCP and press enter. It would ask for my password. I'll provide my password and it would start the installation of it. It would ask you if you would like to install it. Just press Y and press enter so that it can load the package. So now it is installed. Let's clear the screen, and now we are going to configure the DHCP. Now in order to do that, we'll just become a super user for a short interval of time where we'll be using the nano editor in order to edit some settings on it. So just to be as a root user, I'll type sudo -i and it would take me as a root user. Once I am a root user, I'm going to type in vi, then I'm going to the etc, then DHCP, and then DHCP d.configuration and press enter. So now we are in the configuration part of it. Then we are going to enter some information about our network. So I entered my subnet mask, net mask. I entered my router information, subnet mask, and then the domain name. then I entered the domain name servers and the range. So once that's done, make sure that if you're starting a curly bracket over here, make sure you exit it over here as well. So now in order to save in PuTTY, you'll press escape and then you'll type in dot and W, that would write it. And if you'd like to quit it, you'll have a colon and then Q and press enter, so it would write and quit the file. Since we have recently installed it, so it's always better to restart the service or to start the service. So in order to do that, we'll type in systemctl and then we'll type in for example restart, and we'll type in DHCP. So it would restart the service. And if you want to check the status of it, so you'll type in systemctl and then you'll type status and type DHCP. It would tell us the status of it. So as you can see that our DHCP is running on this computer. Now we'll have to keep an eye on another thing, that we want to make sure that whenever our server restarts, the service should be enabled automatically. If we'll not start it automatically, maybe our server would be up but our DHCP won't be working. So in order to do that, we'll type in systemctl again, and then after that we'll type enable and then I'll type in DHCPD, and that would make the configuration changes that whenever our server would restart, it would automatically restart the service. Next step would be we'll have to configure the firewall to allow the DHCP request. Now by default, the configuration of CentOS is to enable the firewall and to allow both ICMP and SSH requests. The DHCP server will not work until we'll enable the firewall. We'll be using the firewall D and the firewall CMD command utility in order to process that. Now the firewall CMD would list all the options and would show the default firewall that would allow the DHCP, etc. And you'll be able to see all the services which are running on our firewall. Now we'll have to add DHCP permanently to the system, so we'll be using the flag for that. So let's clear the screen and let's type in firewall and -cmd, and then we'll type add service equals DHCP and then -permanent and press enter. So now it has added the service as a permanent service of DHCP. After that, we are going to type in firewall CMD, and I would like to reload it and press enter. So it has successfully reloaded. Then I'm going to check firewall CMD and then list all. And now as you can see, it would show you that it has added the service permanently as DHCP service over there. And it can be highlighted right over here. I cannot see my mouse, but here it is, DHCP. So since now we have made the configurations, let's exit the elevated privilege and try to check who am I. It would show me, because it's never recommended to work on the elevated prompt unless and until it's required. So that's done. So that was as far as the configuration on our Linux based DHCP was concerned. Now we need to test it, that we'll have to go to a Windows computer and we are going to change the static IP to a dynamic IP, and we'll see if our PC is able to lease an IP address there or not. So now I'm logged into my Windows 11 computer, and if I would like to check the IP address of my computer, it would show me 10.05.100, but the reason is that we have defined a static IP address on this computer. So what we can do is that we can remove that IP address from here. As you can see that it is a dynamic address, so we'll have to change that so that now the computer which is part of our network and is joined to the domain must be able to acquire an IP address automatically from the DHCP. So You can see if you'll click on this one, it is showing that it is connected, and as you can see, it has acquired the IP address over there. Let's do it on a command prompt, and let's try to check on that. So in order to check that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to open another command prompt, and here I'm going to type in IP config/all, and here you can see that DHCP server has been added, which wasn't there, because now our DHCP server is active and is issuing the IP addresses to the users. So that's how we can configure DHCP on our network, which is a Linux based DHCP server. Now we'll have to go back to our DHCP server and see if we can get any logs about this on that as well. Now I'm logged into my Active Directory again, and likewise I'm using PuTTY in order to connect to my DHCP server. Now you don't need to be logged in as a privileged user. I'm just trying to get the logs from the DHCP server to see that what actually took place, how many computers and services acquired the IP addresses from the DHCP server. So in order to do that, I'll pass in a command called sudo, then I'll write cat, and then I'm going to write var and then log and then messages. Now let's explain the command over here. Sudo is just, it raises our privileges, because on var log messages it's owned by the root user, so we need that in order to gain access to that. In cat over here, it would write the file using the var log messages to the screen, and if I am going to, for example, enter it, it's going to ask me for the password. I'll provide the password, but then as you can see that it showed me lots of different logs which were generated on this one, but I want to get the logs of only my computer, which was Windows 10, for which we actually tried to acquire the IP address. So we'll clear it here and we'll write the same command over here, but this time we are going to use a pipe symbol in between. It would send the output of the previous command to the next command, and then we are going to write grep. Now grep, and then I'll write the workstation name, so it would filter the input for the string of workstation. For example, I remember the name of my computer, which was WKS01 Sayed. So now it would only list the communication which took place from my computer to this one. Now if you'll focus on this one, we have DHCP offer, DHCP discover, and request and acknowledgement. So you must have in mind that whenever DHCP tries to acquire a computer tries to acquire an IP address, there are 4 states of it: discover, offer, request, and acknowledgement. So in discover, the client sends the broadcast packet to discover the available DHCP servers. In offer, DHCP server responds with an offer packet, and then on request, the client responds to the server from which it wants to accept the offer with the request a packet asking for the proposed IP address, and the acknowledgement, which is ACK. The server sends a ACK packet to the client confirming the IP address assignment. So that's what we saw in this one, that it is showing us all that communication which took place between our Windows 10 client, which tried to acquire an IP address from our DHCP server. Now, for example, on a normal network, if you would like to release an IP address which is assigned to a computer, what you can do is that you can go to PowerShell. I'll right click on it and I'll log in as a administrator. Now once it would open, you can pass in the same command as ipconfig and it would show you the IP address of this computer. But if you'd like to release the IP address, I'll type in a command /release and I'll press enter. So it would try to release the address, and then if you want to renew the address, you'll type it renew over here and it would renew the IP address for that client. But since I don't have lots of computers on the network, that's the only computer. That's why we are still getting the same IP address. But on a huge network, if you have lots of computers running, that's the command in order to release and renew the IP addresses. So that was our lab on how can we configure a Linux-based DHCP server on our network and how can we lease the IP addresses using that. That's it for today. Thank you very much.